What's up, YouTube? Rich Bruckner here. Welcome to the Business Blueprint. I want to give a little bit of guidance. This is a question I've been asked by people who want to get into business, and I think people get real fancy before there's a reason to even get fancy. I think there's a lot of just making an excuse to not get started because you don't know everything. Newsflash, you're not going to know everything. I mean, it's scary in a way, I get it, but I'd rather see you in business than going around saying that you're looking into getting into business. Like, just do it, man. You're going to make mistakes anyway. So the big question people ask me a lot, or I've been asked a lot, is should I get an S-Corp? Should I get an LLC? Should I get a DBA? The truth is, any of the above will suffice when you're getting started. There are some key differences. I am going to give what I know. So just my experience is when my first corp ever was an S-Corp. I have had LLCs and S-Corps. Now, my initial understanding of an LLC, because it's a limited liability corporation, and it is more expensive to incorporate, is it's really only necessary. First off, let me just say this. If you're going to do anything, talk to a tax professional. Talk to a CPA at the very least. If not, talk to a tax attorney. These are the people that you want to be involved with. But as far as an LLC goes, you're literally trying to limit yourself from liability. So when I purchased a rental property, that was a major reason that we wanted to have the limited liability. God forbid a tenant sues us for any reason, there's an injury on the property. We want it to be protected by that limited liability status. All right. So the major features of an S-Corp is it's a corporation that elects to pass corporate income, losses, deductions, and credits through to its shareholders for federal tax purposes. And with an LLC, it's a hybrid entity that combines features of a corporation and a partnership or sole proprietorship. Income and losses pass through to owners and are included on their personal tax returns. All right. So the major differences is that there are ownership restrictions for S-Corps. They can't have more than 100 shareholders, and shareholders must be U.S. citizens or residents. LLCs don't have those restrictions. As far as self-employment taxes, an S-Corp can allow for potential savings on self-employment taxes. So an S-Corp can allow for savings on self-employment taxes. So basically, only salaries are subject to those taxes, not dividend payments. Whereas with an LLC, all business profits may be subject to self-employment taxes. You need to have a board of director meeting. You need to have shareholders meetings, all that type of stuff. With an LLC, there's a more flexible structure and there's fewer requirements. You have to show a lot more with an S-Corp than you do with an LLC. Now, when it comes to pros and cons, there's pros and cons to each. So obviously with the S-Corp, you have the tax savings. You have business deductions, so you have the ability to write off business expenses and business credibility. You know, basically by being a corporation, it might give some businesses additional credibility in certain industries. The cons of an S-Corp, there's a lot of paperwork and formalities. There's more strict operational processes and paperwork. There's also ownership restrictions and, you know, the limit of how many shareholders. I mean, for a lot of business owners, that's not going to be a big deal, though. I mean, I don't know. For me, I didn't have any employees for my first 5 years. So, and there's no other shareholders besides me. So I don't know why, unless you're looking to, so if you're looking to have over 100 shareholders, obviously the S-Corp isn't going to work for you. But If you're looking to start a business that's not going public, I don't see why that matters, honestly. So yeah, if you're looking to go public at some point and you want to have hundreds and thousands of shareholders, then yeah, you can't go with an S-Corp for that. But a lot of people that are asking me these questions, they don't have to worry about that in the foreseeable future. So there also is a salary requirement. So shareholders and employees have to draw a reasonable salary, which is subject to employment taxes. I don't see why you wouldn't want to at least pay yourself a decent salary. I mean, if you're really trying to avoid taxes, I guess, but good luck going to get a mortgage, or traditional mortgage, I should say. Some people will get different structured loans, but if you want to own things, you got to be able to show some kind of income. So I would just pay yourself a decent salary and bite the bullet and pay your taxes. You've got the pros of an LLC. So you have the flexibility where, there's just in the terms of you don't have as many requirements for paperwork. There's fewer state-imposed annual requirements and ongoing formalities. And it's also got a flexible profit distribution. So LLCs can choose different ways to distribute profits. Now, when it comes to the cons of an LLC, you're potentially going to have higher self-employment taxes compared to an S-Corp. And there's also varied state rules. So different states have different rules and fees for LLCs, which can complicate multi-state operations. The best case scenario for each type of corporation, when it comes to an S-Corp, it's going to be for businesses who are expecting consistent profits, businesses that can maintain the required formalities, and entrepreneurs who want to save on self-employment taxes. Now, I have to say, I didn't know anything about anything when I got my first corp, and none of the formalities that they speak of here were an issue for me, but I've always had a good CPA handling my taxes and advising me. So I'm going to stress that more than anything. Like, you don't have to be the smartest guy when it comes to taxes. Just make sure the people that are working for you are the best people that you could have on the job. I've never had an issue with an S-Corp. I've never gone public. I've never had anywhere near 100 shareholders with any business I've been involved in. And like I said, I've never had an issue with any of these formalities. I was a dummy when it came to business, and I first started with my S-Corp, and it never caused me any issues. So with an LLC, when it comes to pros, and this is based on the research I did just to come up with this video, because, truth be told, I've had both, and I have always gone based on the recommendations of my CPA. And I've had different CPAs over the years, but I've always gone to a CPA and told them what the business was that I was doing and how I was doing it. And whatever I was advised to do, I would ask questions and say, why are we doing this? And, like I explained, in rental properties, when we were told that an LLC was going to protect us from liability, then yeah, we went with the LLC. But, in other instances, when I was starting different businesses, I was either told definitely do an S-Corp, or it doesn't really matter which one you do. And since I was comfortable doing an S-Corp, I would do an S-Corp. I have a lot more S-Corps than I have LLCs, but I do have both. So yeah, and the other thing is, if you have a business with varying profit distributions among owners, then an LLC definitely is going to make more sense, because if you have an S-Corp, and I kind of found this out the hard way. I started a business with somebody as my partner, and we just went with an S-Corp because we didn't see any real reason to go with an LLC. We asked for advice from a CPA beforehand, and we were kind of told it didn't really matter either way, and the S-Corp was going to be cheaper in the long run, so we went with the S-Corp. And down the line, we figured out that we had to take even distribution. So if for some reason she took X amount as a distribution, then I needed to take the exact amount as a distribution, which it may not be an issue, and it wasn't really an issue for us, but it could be an issue if you have a different ownership structure, and you have a different agreement. So that's something you might want to keep in mind. So the point is, it's going to vary from business to business, which one's going to work better for you. But based on the information I've put here, you might have learned something that's important. Comment if you did. And if there's something that I left out, a question that went unanswered for you, leave a comment and let me know. If this was helpful to you, definitely subscribe, because I'm going to be doing a lot more videos like this in the business blueprint, sharing my experience and things that helped me along the way. Definitely share this with somebody if you think that it might help them out. And always, always, always go to a professional and tell them your exact circumstances and get advice from either a CPA or a tax attorney. Like, that's the best advice that I could put in this video, is to make sure you speak with a professional and get advice based on your specific circumstances. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely come back and check out the videos I have coming. I have a lot of good stuff coming up for you guys.